If you give a dad a podcast, then what else would you even want to listen to? It's old news. If you give a dad a podcast, then it would be of you to give it a spin or two. I'll go to your room. I'm in my room rounded, but I got a podcast on. He calls us beautiful people, then
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming back to this show. My name is Jared. I am the host here. I am very excited for my guest that I have here today. I've been talking to him for a few months, trying to get this, kind of worked out and everything. And we're finally here to be able to talk with him. He is a actor, writer, and producer. He's known for being part of Power Rangers Shattered Past, Bloodline of the Grid, Reverse Flash Origins. He's done a bunch of other stuff too. He is awesome. I've been binging a lot of his content here lately on YouTube, and I am talking about Colin Bass. Man, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you for that awesome intro, and thank you for having me on the show.
Definitely. When I reached out to you, you actually got back to me pretty quick and everything, and I was very excited. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get this dude on the show too. Because, I had known some of what you've done because, like I told you before, I had Chris Kane and Lee on the show, and I knew you from doing Bloodline. And so, whenever I reached out, I was like, oh, we'll see what happens. And whenever you reached back out to me, I was pretty stoked about this.
I'm stoked too.
So we'll kind of just jump right into this a little bit. And we'll start off with an easy one. What was your favorite Power Rangers show as a kid?
Oh man. I think I was a teenager at this point, but Dino Thunder is number one for me.
Okay.
It was like I always checked in every season. Ninja Storm was what really brought me back. Like I kept it a little bit of a secret if I'm being honest. But then Dino Thunder, I was like, this show rips. I'm gonna kind of show this to my nerdy friends. And having Jason David Frank back really made people go, oh, okay, like it's all connected, and it made it really, really special. So Dino Thunder number one, but Ninja Storm very close number two.
Man, and it's part of the show, but it's really not. But that theme song for Ninja Storm, dude, that just rocks. I love that awesome. So much. Yeah,
I'm right with you.
I'm a big music guy, so I noticed that kind of stuff right off the bat, and that's one of those ones. There's some of the shows that they're just their themes you can just rock out to.
I'd say the Disney era, just consistent. All Disney era, Wild Force, Disney took over like halfway through.
Right.
Still love Wild Force. It goes all the way to RPM, and I'm like, all those songs are just my favorite. Jungle Fury is my favorite theme, though.
Okay, yeah, that one's pretty good. It is, yeah. It kind of went a little different, with like you said, pop punk and everything. So yeah, I really like that. I am noticing whenever watching some of your content and stuff, especially with like Shattered Past and everything, there's little snippets coming in with Dino Thunder and Ninja Storm and things like that. So it's really cool to see that. I know that that's your favorites and stuff, and so that kind of leaning into those a little bit whenever you're writing these.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd like to think I know a medium amount about every season because I watched it, I did my research. Even with Shattered Past, I'm like, what can I get away with here? Because I like doing the untold stories.
Yeah.
But secretly, when we would like let the fans vote, let our patrons vote, I'm like, please pick one of my seasons, please do Dino Thunder or Ninja Storm or something. And I lucked out most of the time, and then that allowed me to expand the lore and do these untold stories or new Rangers or little Easter eggs that only the fans of that season would really know.
Right. So when it comes to writing these, where do you draw your biggest amount of inspiration when it comes to these stories?
Man, it's kind of a cheesy answer, but I always say it. I write what I would want to see if I were just watching the show.
Right.
We're 30 years into Power Rangers. They did what they could when they could for like the nooks and crannies of the universe and timelines and all these different things. Even just like a what if scenario of a different Ranger color or that those are the kind of things that make me want to write something and create something. So like Omega Ranger, I thought it was the coolest suit, coolest power. Where is he? Why don't I know more about him? And that's how Shattered Past was created. I thought it'd be really cool to dive into the unmorphed side of him, where he does have the teleportation powers. He's not relying on his suit. He's not a ball of light, and he's still time traveling. Like the thing that I thought made him really cool was outside of all of that. So
Yeah.
I just kind of think about what would I want to see as a fan, and also what can I do with a very limited budget.
Right, right. So when it came to developing like the suit for the Omega Ranger and stuff, what was that process like, and how long did it take you to come up with that? And was it very hard working with the person who made the helmet for you, and all the other stuff too?
Yeah, it was all kind of like a happy accident with F-Zero. I had
Okay.
that jacket, and I had a white shirt, and I had the Morpher from like just my collection,
Yeah.
and I was kind of just putting like a civilian Sam together. And then I realized, I was like, well, I didn't realize. I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if we just kind of like stayed away from spandex and focused more on like absorbing weapons and
Yeah.
meeting other characters? But then by like episode 1 or 2, I was getting some, I wouldn't say like slack from it. I was getting comments like, when's he gonna morph? When's he gonna morph? And I realized, I was like, I have to morph. And I was like, okay, how do I do this properly? And I start sourcing the helmet, I start sourcing the costume, but then I need to like down to like minuscule things that I would notice. The knuckle duster, or the knuckles on his glove,
Yeah.
things like that were all things I like slowly pieced together. And I remember me trying the suit on for the first time. I'm like, this is great, but this is nowhere near ready for like the episode. So it took until episode 4 for me to be fully completed. And
Oh
even that
wow.
morning, we were gluing my little knuckles on, like we're still putting it all together. And then even then, I didn't have like the proper hero neck thing for the
Right.
helmets, like
Right.
wear my turtleneck up to here. It was all
Yeah.
figuring it out like way too late, but at the same time, that
Yeah.
was like that was the time. Okay, this is the big Sam versus Draken thing that people have been wanting for a long time. Here we go.
Yep.
And then I still was figuring it out. And then it was written to the script that my morpher gets damaged because I caught the big energy orb or whatever.
Yep.
And then now I have all this footage of me back in my suit doing these fight scenes and flying through portals and stuff for the finale. And now the suit's ready, but the episode's not. So it's all kind of a balance like that. But no, it went relatively smooth, and I was like really proud to wear it, and I was really happy to wear it.
Yeah.
And people seem to like it. And, like, we still get lots of love and shares on like how they got to know Sam outside the suit, but then you still got to see me fight. And I think we had a really cool sequence with DJ Rivers, the Red Fusion Space Ranger. He
Yeah.
and I could team up, and that wasn't even in the script. He just happened to get his suit ready for Bloodline. And I was like, dude, will it be ready by Saturday, the blah, blah, blah? And he was like, yeah, I'll be ready. And I was like, okay, I'm writing it in. It's you and me versus Draken. He's
That's
like,
cool.
what? The morphing sequence, and it,
Yeah.
it all went better than planned. But
Yeah.
man, I was not ready like the morning of. I was still together.
Hey, and sometimes that's the best way is, right down to the very last, coming up with stuff, making those small changes, making sure it's exactly what you want. And even the morphing sequence itself, that's actually really cool, what you
Thank
came
you.
up with there. So,
Thank you. Yeah, I was really inspired by Sky's morph when he was turned into Red Ranger for one morph.
yeah.
I was like, okay, it's simplistic. This is probably how they would do it if in the Omega, Omega and whatever his team is in the future that we
Right.
haven't really seen. I'm guessing it'd be straightforward and it'd just be blah, like,
Yeah.
and we were practicing on this green screen, and I was like, doing my pose and doing this and trying to, there's like the crazy SPD red and stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I thought Sam would kind of do just more of like a brawler pose.
Yeah.
And so when we landed on that, I was really nerding out when I saw the full. So it was my first like full CG morphing sequence. So I
Right.
was really happy, and it was like kind of figuring it out right then and there, and it was a
Right.
blessing. It was really fun.
So, did you just go into the studio and be like, okay, I kind of want it to look like this, and you had somebody sitting there, or are you doing the editing for this as well?
No. I edit a little bit for work, but nothing that like our people do.
Okay.
Um, I sent the Sky Red Ranger as like kind of like a resource to base it off of, but
Hmm.
also I was very specific, like, I want yellow in the tunnel going by me. I want the
Right.
glow here, but I want a blue glow here. Like
Yeah.
I was really nerding out on what I would have wanted to see in SPD if we
Right.
saw Morph.
Right.
But bless, his name is Jordan. He's actually like working for Netflix now.
Oh,
He flew
wow.
past us. Yeah. Shout out to Jordan Pring. But now, we still keep in touch, and I'm rooting for him. But he did that full sequence himself. And then, yeah, we filmed against the green screen. I was kind of just figuring out my pose, and it was still, I think it was, I might be remembering wrong, but I think it was like the same day I'd first worn the suit. So it was like still really fresh to me how I looked and how to work in it and everything. And I'd worn my Red Ranger suit in Ninja Storm, but I always kind of wrote around how uncomfortable it was. I always like take my helmet off and just look cool. But with
Yeah.
I did like a full sequence and the morph sequence, and it was just like it was learning as you go. And then when I got it back, I was really, really picky about how I wanted to match, but also be not the same as the others from SPD.
Yeah, yeah. So is Sam somebody that you've had in your head as a character for a long time? Like I have a friend, I'm actually part of a group called Original Geek. And what
Cool.
we do is we make comic books and we make audio series and things like that. Well,
Cool.
he's had our main comic is Vengeance. And he's had that character in his head for years and years. And now we've been able to bring it into a comic book. Is
Cool.
Sam kind of the same thing for you, where it's like, even in a more simplistic way, even is that somebody that maybe you've had in your head as a character for a long time?
I'll be honest, no. I did buy I remember watching SPD when it was out, which is like '05, I believe.
Okay.
And I must have been 15 at the time. And then I remember getting into like the world of a kind of just blanket statement, just like the entertainment industry with a comic book website that I was working for when I was in college.
Yeah.
And I remember just buying the morpher off eBay and not really knowing what I wanted to do with it. But then I used that morpher in some like rinky dink superhero series that never went, and I didn't think anyone would recognize it, right?
Yeah.
But then I had it with me because I always loved the Omega Ranger. I
Right.
love that morpher, vroom, vroom,
Oh
and I kind
yeah.
of work into our original series. And then when Shattered Past Ep Zero happened, I kind of just went into it like, hey, I could do this, and I don't think people would be mad about me playing. Like if I was like, yeah, it's me, Jason from Mighty Morphin, they'd be like, boo,
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm doing a character that you saw him for 1 second. He was just kind of a white dude with brown hair.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So once I got a taste of like I played him in Ep Zero, and
Hmm.
I kind of created this line of like all the Power Rangers destroyed. I've lived through everything you saw me in SPD. I literally Ep Zero came out and I was like, I want to play this character. I
Yeah.
want to do Sam justice. I want to give people what I missed from the Omega Ranger, which
Right.
was personality.
Right.
So no, not my whole life, but once I got like a taste of who he was and what he's been through and what he wants,
Yeah.
he really became his own person, and I really cared about him and his relationship with the rest of the team, and also just like the potential of man, this guy didn't really ask for any of this. This is the job, and then he kind of rises to the occasion, messes up a lot, but also still trying to do the right thing. And I think
Yeah.
that's what makes me really like him. And as I've grown with him and played like even different versions of him in different timelines, I really do see deep, deep down how much I do like this character and want him to win, which I think that it translates to the audience as well.
Right. Yeah. So when it you were talking about the sequence and everything, and then you brought up how you had how you do the turn on there
Yeah.
and everything, and that's probably, in my opinion, the coolest part of it. It's when you're doing that, just like, yeah, that it really shows through. It's a really cool thing. One other thing though, you brought up how if you were to bring in and say, "Oh yeah, I'm Jason," the fans would boo. It makes it all the more cool when you do have those people who actually do come in the show, like you've had Catherine Sutherland come in for the show and everything. So it gets I'm going to use a wrestling reference here, but I'm sure it gets a big pop from the fans and people who are watching it, seeing those actual people come into the show.
Yeah, and I think it legitimizes what we're doing with the Power Rangers Extended Universe.
Right.
I mean, everyone that like is still in the Power Rangers Extended Universe, we're not delusional. We know, it's fan made, but it also expands on the thing that a lot of us love, which is, the Power Rangers universe. Man, but once we started getting real Rangers, I really took it more seriously, and I was more picky about doing original characters or versions of characters or people that aren't established. And I
Right.
think it makes it more special and more, I guess, universally accepted. And then, shout out to Unworthy. They're the whole reason I started doing this. But they took the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like iconic legends of it, and then
Yeah.
they just said, "Hey, we're on Earth 218." And I think
Right.
that's brilliant too. I think that's really smart to not go, "No, I'm that. I'm the original." They
Yeah.
did it really, really smart. I think what we do in the extended universe is be grateful for even people watching what we do and enjoying what we create, and also the opportunity to bring these legacy characters in, like
Right.
even Rangers, allies, villains. We've been so lucky, and I think that is because they're like, oh well, these people treat the source with respect, and I think that they know that this is just kind of like a big love letter to a franchise that has been around for so long and loved by so many people.
Right.
But yeah, it was so cool. The first Ranger. I had ever worked with was William Shufelt, Ninja Steel Red Ranger, and it
Yeah.
went really well. And kind of word spread, and then we started working with other Rangers. Then Bloodline happened, and man, it's just been a dream come true. And I think about showing younger Colin these scenes working with these Legacy Rangers that I've watched for
Yeah.
over 30 years now. Oh man, he would freak out, and he would just be so grateful. And I think that matches how a lot of us in the extended universe feel as well.
Definitely. Definitely. So I saw something the other day, and you actually commented on it, and I kind of wanted to ask how does this happen very often? There were some people kind of giving flack about it being the extended universe and stuff. Is that something that you see a lot that happens? People saying, "Well, this isn't part of it."
I will say we've kind of like slowed down on content in the past couple years.
Yeah.
When it was first like really taking off, and we had like four shows going at once with the comic book, with this and with that, there were haters for sure, just kind of like trying to take away. And again, we're not delusional. We know what this is,
Right.
and we're not claiming it to be anything else. But yeah, when we were like really active, there were a lot of people just kind of trying to take our feet out from under us. But lately, it's more like I think you don't know what you got until it's gone. I think a lot of people miss our content,
Yeah.
and I've been really focused on Dragon Ball Son of Trunks and creating other content for Anime Fire. But excuse me, once we get back to creating the content and everything, I think that the people will show up again.
Right.
But yeah, it's not a regular thing these days. I think it's a lot of like, oh, cool, they're back. You're like, where you guys been?
Yeah.
Where's the finale? But man, when we were pumping out content and working with Rangers and new suits and new weapons, and it was like kind of weekly thing. It was granted it was COVID time, so we had a lot of time on our hands. Um, it was kind of like I always had my guard up. I was like, hey, we're not claiming we're anything we're not.
Right.
Literally just expanding the canon, expanding the lore that we all know and love.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and they're like, that's not the extended universe. And then right when we came out with the name, because I had named the Power Rangers Extended Universe because we were just doing so much Power Rangers content. Why not
Right.
connect it all?
Yeah.
And I think right after that, Boom Comics came out Power Rangers Universe. And I was like, oh, that,
Yeah, so I know that there's 5 different series, right, that are in the extended universe. Is that what it
there's
is?
there's five connected series, and then also comic book series. And
Mhm.
then I have been in Unworthy, and Unworthy is connected to Bloodline, I believe.
Okay.
It got a little messy towards the end because I didn't really know what was happening. I was just like, oh, cool, we're all working together. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
and, things that aren't connected in the video realm got connected in the comic book. So I
Gotcha.
just call it like a big multimedia multiverse, basically.
Yeah.
But the four main shows are all connected, and I love where some shows kind of ended just due to scheduling or people moving away or popularity, and then I'm able to pick them up and connect them into the shows that are currently going.
Right.
And DJ and I are really good at communicating on what makes sense and what connects. But yeah, to answer your question, it is like four main series. Two of them unfortunately ended just because of life, of real
Right.
life.
Yeah.
And then the two that are still going slowly but surely is Shattered Past and Bloodline, but we all have connections to Unworthy
Yeah.
and then comic books that connects all of us.
So the way I kind of got into this, there was one mini film that came out. I think it was in, I want to say it was in like 2012, something like that, maybe a little later. And it was the one that actually caused a lot of um, kind of feedback, from people. And it was the one that was the more adult,
The
uh,
boot,
yeah, the bootleg one, and
yeah, that one was crazy.
I liked it. Not
I
gonna
liked
lie,
it
I
too.
really liked it.
I was like, hell yeah, because I've been checking on Power Rangers every season. Then this comes out, and I was like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? This would be great.
Well, and I mean, I think Carla was in there as Rita, I believe, as well.
Oh, I
Um,
need to rewatch it.
yeah, it's a fun rewatch, and I would love to see more stuff like that as well. I love what I'm seeing, with the content that you're producing and everything like that. But I grew up watching it. I grew up seeing the original series whenever I was a kid, and so now I'm an adult, and sometimes it's like I want to see some of this because it grow up with me, kind of deal. But I still love it. All of what I'm seeing, it's so much fun to be able to go and watch all the different stuff. Now, since they're pretty well, I mean, as of right now, we don't have anything coming out immediately, so I'm just collecting the DVDs now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's smart. That's
yeah,
smart. Yeah, yeah. No, that bootleg one was a game changer. Bad in the Sun bringing Jason David Frank back for the fight scenes and stuff,
yeah.
and then Worthy was the one that really made me go, "Oh wait, I could do something like this. I want to do something like this." And
Right.
I think that's like the thing that maybe will float us into whatever happens next
Yeah.
with whoever produces the next thing with Power Rangers or whatever. It could be the fans, and then maybe I don't know if you know the story. I think it's Forever Red, but Forever Red was written by a fan from like uh
Oh,
yeah, I believe the story is that there's this big fan page of Power Rangers, and he wrote a bunch of fan fiction. I might be totally butchering this, I'm sorry. But
it's
the
all
idea
right.
is that in Forever Red, they brought on someone to help write it, and he was just a fan at first, and then he became like a writer and started working with it.
That's
And I
cool.
think that the production company or the studio or whatever got a little lost in the sauce with what makes Power Rangers so special, and it
Right.
is the connections. It's like those anniversary episodes. Why do they get the best views?
Right.
Why do we love when there's like flashback sequences to another story?
Hmm.
And they're just so blinded by Mighty Morphin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'd care way more if you did this season connecting to it all.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I maybe for now we rely on the fans to produce content, and then maybe when the studios decide what to do with it, maybe they listen to us a little bit. Maybe,
Maybe we'll see.
probably not, but it's okay.
Well, I actually saw whenever they stopped making everything and Hasbro, pretty much started selling everything off and everything. Amy actually put something out there and she was like, "Give me a go at it." And I was like, "Okay, come on, let's see that happen." Because I
Yeah,
know
and
she's been
Amy
doing
wrote a
comics
comic.
and stuff
Yeah,
too. So,
yeah,
that would be really great to kind of see somebody who was a part of it, who has a passion for it, be a part of that to
yeah.
create new stuff.
I forgot his name. I follow him on Instagram, but he's the guy that like ran SPD. Yeah, I think his name's Greg something. But he's doing the 20-year anniversary of SPD.
Oh,
He's posted
cool.
amazing behind the scenes pictures and videos and even information
Yeah,
about his limitations as a showrunner.
right.
Oh, man, I'll send you the link when we're off of this, but
Okay.
it is cool to see like what he wanted and what he went through and what we got.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of different season runners were fans or like did know the lore, but maybe they
Yeah.
didn't want this or didn't want that. And
Right.
Amy, I'm guessing Amy is like, yeah, she still makes a lot of money off of being the Pink Ranger, but
Right.
who's to say she didn't keep up and knows all the lore? Like it'd be
Exactly.
great to
Yeah.
think that.
Yeah. Um, that's I'm getting all caught up in my thoughts here and everything because that would just be cool. I'm thinking about seeing all that. One thing else that I would like to see, because obviously the 30th anniversary episode that they came out with, Once and Forever, I think is what it was called, where they had everybody come back from Mighty
Oh, once and
Morphin.
always,
Once
yes.
and always, there we go. And I would love to see something like that with some of the other seasons, like in space or Lost Galaxy, one of those, something to where they have to come back, because even though I grew up on, Mighty Morphin and Zeo. Zeo's probably my favorite, but my second one would be Lost Galaxy, and I would
Oh,
love to see some more stuff with
yeah.
that even.
Oh yeah, I'm down for and nothing to take against it's the original, but I'm just
Yeah.
down for anything other than Mighty Morphin, honestly. Like
Yeah.
like Bloodline is doing a great job at bringing back in space. It feels like a big in space reunion. I
Right.
think they're man, I want to say like 4 out of 6 Rangers or something. They're doing great.
That's
And
cool.
then like I'm the same way, dude. I like the ones that we haven't seen are more interesting to me, honestly.
Yeah.
I've seen the Mighty Morphin people come back. Once Ranger, Always Ranger, and Operation Overdrive
Hmm.
was one of my favorites because we had Mighty Morphin and like 4 Disney era seasons, which is
Right.
my stuff. And then to pay on Lost Galaxy, there's so many ways you could go with Lost Galaxy because it was like kind of mystical with the beasts and everything, but it was
Yep.
also like techie with the flying through space. And I
Right.
filmed with Russell Lawrence, the Magna Defender.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yeah.
Oh man, I was just nerding out. We were on the set of a spaceship, and they're all getting set up, and I was just we were reading lines. I was like, "Can I just ask you some questions?" I started asking questions like if he knows the lore, if he like what he thinks about this, what he thinks about that. He had just done a big rewatch during COVID of Lost Galaxy,
That's
and he
cool.
agreed that there's just so much more you could do with those seasons but Mighty
Yeah.
Morphin is it. That's
Yeah.
just it.
And I have to say, your whole interaction with the Magnet Offender on Shattered Past cracked me up, and you're like, oh, the Omega Defender,
He's
and
like, what?
yeah.
No.
You'll
I
give
had a
it to
great,
the next person. Oh, it's not me. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
I, I had so much fun with him. We were kind of just like reading lines, and I'm like, the idea is that Sam thinks he's like that guy.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm gonna save the whole time, blah blah blah. And he's like, no, not you. And the way he delivered it, I broke, I think, like two different times before we got the take. He's like, not you, man. But yeah, it's really fun. And then I had to explain to him, I'm like, do you know that you become a solar ranger? And he goes, what is a solar ranger? I showed him the picture, and that's why we had that little line, like, no, I'm gonna become something a little more solar. And it was cool to explain that. And then I I I don't know if you know this. I don't know if anyone knows this, but while the like ship is like getting an alert,
Uh-huh.
that is Christopher Kamen Lee, who's also a Red Solar Ranger, giving the announcement to get him to go. So
Okay.
there's a bunch of crossover with full nerd Easter egg and everything.
That's
And
awesome.
Russell was just totally cool with it. And Chris was like, "Nah, I missed my Spiral Saber. I don't want to be a Solar Ranger."
When it comes to the script, how much of it is actually scripted versus what is improv? Because there's some lines in there, where they're kind of poking fun at you,
Yeah.
and how much of that is scripted and how much of that is, oh, this would be cool to have this here.
When it's me, DJ, and Dade, which is the time trio,
Uh-huh.
it starts scripted, but I write it very, very loosely
Yeah.
because they always add things in and it always makes us three more natural.
Right.
And I learned that I think it was episode three. No, it was four. It was episode four. When we're in that like cave talking, and I
Mm-hmm.
realized like the things that they were just kind of spitting out, I was like, this is better than what I've written. And that's when we kind of really like had that camaraderie and like, Dade's the straight one, DJ's the wise one, I'm the impulsive one. And we
Yeah.
always and after that happened, unfortunately in the series we got all split up. But then
Mm-hmm.
when we came back in five, I was just like, hey, this is the basics of what we're gonna say, but you guys add whatever you want.
Right.
So with those three, or with us three, I always kind of like leave it more up to improv.
Yeah.
And then I always like poking character, or I like poking at my characters
Yeah.
because I don't want them to think that I'm like full of myself as the lead or anything. So I was like, I like knocking them down a little bit. But there were some cool sequences like even fighting. Man, okay, my vault's unlocking where I'm starting to remember more of these. It
That's
was
great. Yeah.
three, Ep three, it was me and Dade, and we were fighting a bunch of ninjas or something. And
Yeah.
one of them was my high school buddy who was acting in First Ninja with me. And I was like, "Hey, are you down to like come be a ninja that we just beat up?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And then we were doing a fight scene, and we just kind of said, "And then Dade will throw you." And so we're doing this like fight scene, and Dade throws him. His name's Isaiah.
Yeah.
Dade throws him, and Isaiah just goes flying. Like 10 feet that way. And I remember mid fight, I was like, oh my God, is he okay? And that was improvised. I was not expecting him to fly like across the screen.
Yeah.
So I think that are a lot of improvisation, but the wordplay and like the storytelling, I'm
Yeah.
pretty particular on that following the script for sure.
Right on. Right on. The Pink Omega Ranger. Is there
Yes.
was there something hinted at there? Because I mean, she gave you the kiss on the cheek and everything.
Yeah.
Will that
We
play out anymore in the series?
definitely, definitely. Yeah. She kissed me on the cheek. I think in the series finale trailer, we full on kiss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you check out the series finale trailer, I have like a black eye and a sling, and we just full on
Yeah.
lip kiss. But
Okay.
yeah, that's Endgame, and Sam doesn't know it, and she does. But also, Sam's not the version that she's in love with. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Sam has to
Okay.
grow a lot and hasn't even technically met her yet. But yeah, it wasn't just like a misdirect. That is like
Okay.
at some point in time they're supposed to link up and be together. And I think there was a fan edit that was like, "What's Rain's last name?" I was like, "You really want to know?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It's O'Neill." They're like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're supposed to end up together."
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, now I'm nerding out about
I'm looking at her helmet right now. Oh, I miss her.
it. So we're going to kind of switch things over here a little bit, and I do want to talk about Son of Trunks.
Yeah.
I so much fun. I got to I watched it yesterday and loved that first episode. It was
Thank you.
wonderful. You have somebody in the show, and I was like, I know that voice is the real voice, and it's Dale Kelly, playing the narrator, and
Mhm.
actually he told me yesterday to tell you hello. I'm got him
Really?
scheduled to be on the show too here soon. So
That's amazing. That's so cool. I love Dale. That's great.
so being able to get some of these voice actors and stuff, even in that, has been pretty amazing. And I know you were talking to Billy and Jim from Zero to Hero about the voice of Cell being
Yes.
a part of this as well. Kind of talk about how you got started in this process for this show, because it's been amazing what I've seen so far. Even seeing, you go Super Saiyan when you're flying, that was cool. I loved that.
Yeah, I'll be very, very honest with you. We're switching over to a new channel called Anime Fire
Yep.
because we do anime conventions.
Hmm.
And I did a Digimon show that I love. It's called DigiDestined, and we have original voice actors from Digimon coming back.
That's
And
awesome.
it did pretty well, but it was like a lot of just me going, "Oh, come on, go!" And then I just and I felt myself like just getting older, and I was like, I can't. I got to do what I want to do before I get too old, honestly.
Right.
And so I kind of put the pause on that, and I was like, I want to do Dragon Ball. And then I
Yeah.
really wanted to do something Trunks related, but I
Yeah.
didn't feel like I'd be a good Trunks because I love Trunks. If you look at my room right now, it's full of Trunks. Oh, look at
Right
this.
there behind you. Yeah.
Um, so I kind of like went the same route that I've gone with the six. I'll use this quote like successful series that I've done. It's the
Hmm.
untold stories. It's the
Right.
fan film that do things that the studio can't.
Right.
You also within reason with no budget and with the limited resources that I have. So I thought like, man, what would it be? And then I I literally was like thinking Dragon Ball, what? And I thought, Son of Trunks. I'm like, that's catchy.
Yeah.
Also, there's history of Trunks. There's father of Goku. There's all these
Yep.
different things with that like same cadence.
Right.
I started thinking about what would make sense. Well, androids, I don't have to worry about like a full CG Frieza or Cell or anything.
You're right.
The androids, and then I'm like, what have they never done? They've never crossed over Z and GT. So they have
Yeah.
like the super androids in GT, and
Yeah.
they have super Android 13 in the movie. What if we do that? And like that's the scary thing. All the Z fighters are dead. It's the next generation, kind of a Batman Beyond vibe, where
Right.
you care about the new character, but also you love seeing the old throwback characters or villains or heroes that kind of relate to the fan favorites.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another, it started just kind of coming together. Lots of research, lots of like ideas about how I could properly do this and how I could do it. And a lot of people didn't want live action Dragon Ball because of evolution. So
Yeah.
I felt a lot of pressure trying to prove myself. And I had like a trailer or something. And I went up to Dale Kelly at Vegas and I introduced myself. I'm for my day job, which all goes together. It's all the same company, but I
Yeah.
love these fan films. So I'm very lucky where I have the day job, marketing director, but then
Yeah.
also, Colin, you're on set being a Super Saiyan. I'm like, sign me up, all good. And then so I meet Dale Kelly, and we just like kind of vibing. I'm talking to him, and there's like some Son of Trunks promo around the con. And he was like, "Well, let me know if you need me." And I was like, "Actually, Dale, I do need you. I want you to do the intro and outro and the blah blah blah." And he was like, "Well, talk to my agent." One thing leads to another, and it just skips the agent. It's just me and Dale talking, and
That's
we
cool.
become friends. And I sent him a big old brick of like, I want you to do the intro, the outro, this and that, and we
Yeah.
kind of like started just checking in with each other, being friends, and we did Anime Las Vegas, and then I got the idea of like, what if I can go to work at these conventions, 3 times a year,
Yeah.
have something good that people like and want to see. Why don't I just ask these legends to try to be in it?
Right.
And so it's worked and it hasn't worked. But yeah, and
Yeah.
then same thing with Cell. Episode one came out, did some numbers, and also Cell Damian Clark is just he's kind of like a cowboy. He doesn't really care about legalities or whatever. Like I think I threw him a beer and I was like, "Hey, you down to do you down to do this voice?" But yeah, that's been kind of like my perspective with any of these future projects where I'm in a very fortunate situation where like I'm face to face with these people and
Right.
I'm not making money off it. It's all just a fan film. It's all just love for the IP.
Yeah.
And so I just go for it. And I've definitely been turned down. I've definitely been like, don't tell anyone that's me. And I have to
Yeah.
fight
Yeah.
about it.
Right.
And then there's the times where they're just like, yeah, what do you need? Let me know.
Yeah.
And like from Digimon to Son of Trunks to Power Rangers to now we're working on the last Uchiha, which is a Naruto thing. I'm
Okay.
like my best to like make it that special love letter that no one's ever seen before with a little sprinkled in from the original legacy characters.
Right on. Right on. And when are we going to be getting the next episode? I know there's a trailer out. When will we be seeing that?
The release day is March 27th.
Oh, it's right around the corner.
Yes, we just wrapped the final day of filming last Saturday.
Okay.
I'm glad I had some time for my sunburn to go away. I was super sunburnt, feeling all over the place. And then it was really great. I got to film with Brandon Mejia, Dino Charge Red Ranger,
Yeah.
and then it was just a really fun and exciting film day. And I wasn't even supposed to be suited up, but then our Android 13 actor was like, "Hey, let's do a stunt," and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then I don't know if you've seen it, but I do this uppercut, and he does this triple side flip and rolls down an entire mountain, and I'm just
Yeah.
standing up badass. So I was like very glad I suited up for that. But yeah, so we're in post production, and it comes out March 27th. And then we're gonna do a big screening at Anime Las Vegas, and
Awesome.
then we'll see what happens with Ep 3.
Man, that's awesome. I can't wait to see that. I've really been enjoying it. And it's you see little things like at the very end, you've got another one, that's coming through at the very end. I don't want to give away, the ending of the show. If
Android.
people have it, yes, there's an android that comes through. I don't want to give away who it is, but go watch it. It's amazing if you haven't watched the first episode, y'all. But yeah, I'm just excited for these projects, because with what I do, I also work with some of the guys at CO to Hero, and they have people who produce different video or not video, I'm sorry, but audio series and stuff based off it. I've got to play the voice of Darkseid. I've got to do
I
some
hear
other,
something.
yeah.
Wait, wait.
Well, they kind of
Stop.
changed
You
my
want
voice a little bit there,
Yeah.
but I I just kind of
Sorry, put
bring
you on
it
spot.
down here like this, and
Hey, good.
yeah, and then he kind of changes it up a little bit to give it a little bit more bass in there. I've got a few, characters where they've done their original characters, where they're new Power Rangers series and stuff. And so it's fun. One of the guys actually created a series because my show's name is If You Give a Dad a Podcast. And he was like, what if we made different universes where different things happen to you? So the first one that we came up with was If You Give a Dad a Dragon Dagger. And then he asked me, what would you do if you had a dragon dagger drop
Summon
into
the
your
dragons
backyard?
alive.
And so, I gave him the story, and then he has me narrate the story, and we tell that he, makes it all sound all cool and everything like that, and come up with this whole thing. So we've done that. We've also done If You Give a Dad a Transformer, and then we got another one that's coming out here soon. I'm a big Buffy and Angel fan, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and so we
Except
have
for
one.
the reboot or the sequel, the
Yeah,
revamp.
the continuance kind of thing. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. Yeah, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So
If I got Smallville, I'd do a backflip. I'm a big Smallville guy.
oh, I love Smallville too. Oh yeah, I actually got to meet Michael Rosenbaum a few years at my first con that I went to. So that one was really cool. Getting to meet him. Lex Luthor is just awesome. So
I've met him before too. It's great.
yeah. Would you ever do any when it comes to like DC, any other series?
Yeah. I think someone asked me like my dream role or something. I would do anything Superman related. Like even if
Yeah.
I'm an old dude, I'll be John Kent or another L, like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, a big part of like why I even went down this path was because of my love of Smallville, and like I
That's cool.
always kept tabs on like all things nerdy, honestly, because it was rare back then.
Yeah.
Before the big surge with Iron Man 1, anything that super came out, I would watch. I'd give it a shot.
Right.
Yeah, Smallville was my thing where, man, 10 seasons, I was just obsessed and I wanted to be Clark.
Yeah.
But I also like I knew it wasn't real, so I kind of
Yeah.
got to live out like for a perfect example, the whole reason why like my opening sequence and my ending sequence of Dragon Ball Son of Trunks is me flying in that green screen. That was
Yeah.
me living out my season 4 episode 1 dream. And it
Yeah.
was so crazy because I told my boss, we got really scared, right? Because episode 1 was like on its way out, and
Yeah.
everyone, so they weren't very nice when we were announcing it. Let's just say that.
Really? Okay.
But, oh yeah, dude, just posters and like little sneak peeks and stuff. It was not going well. I was really scared. And my boss was like, "What do we need to make this successful?" And I was like, "We need to start out with me flying and end with we need a green screen day, blah 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 blah."
Yeah.
And he was like, "What?" And so I started literally like training. Like I was just on this little like ottoman thing. It was like a little
Yeah.
circle. We covered it in green, and I
Uh-huh.
was just practicing in my kitchen like for like weeks.
Somebody
And
walks in. What the heck are you doing?
exactly, my dog would look at me like, "What are you doing, dude?" And then it became this thing where I was like, man, this is the reason why I want to do this is because I just loved that sequence in Smallville. I watched the BTS. There's pictures going around of him. Then just
Yeah.
so that week that I like to have it booked to go to this green screen room was the week they were talking about that very episode on Talkville. And I
Okay.
was like, that's a sign. I got to do
Yeah.
it. Got
Yeah.
to do it. So I filmed way too many green screen scenes so that I could sprinkle it out into the different shows and stuff. And then originally the final scene of me in my Saiyan armor going Super Saiyan wasn't the final scene. It was going to be a completely different scene, but I was like, wait, we got extra footage of me in my Saiyan armor flying. Let's make me go Super Saiyan. And then it was
Yeah.
all because I was just so inspired by Smallville.
Yeah. That's when
Sorry,
he got the
you and Buffy, me and Smallville. We love it.
oh yeah. That's when he got the red rock, right? Because the
Black.
explosion.
No, so he got like turned into Kal-El. He wasn't Clark, which is why he lived.
That's right.
And then
Yeah,
he got
yeah.
the Black Rock to separate himself.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking it was whenever the explosion happened because he tried to destroy the spaceship, and you remember his mom was like pregnant and like she
That was
lost
in
the
the
baby.
three. Yep.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And then he put on the red ring because he didn't want to remember it or something like that.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a little
And
rest.
oh, I love that show. That was one that I watched with even my parents. That we would buy the DVDs and just binge it.
I think you and I have a lot in common, my friend.
I
My
think
dad
so.
not nerdy at all.
Yeah.
Nothing. Doesn't even watch what I do now.
Yeah.
Still, Smallville was like our show that we watched.
Oh yeah. My dad actually did get me into comics. I will say that. It's funny because he's a pastor of a church, and
Wow.
but he's the one who got me into comics.
What was your first?
So probably Superman or Batman, but my favorite one growing up was Wolverine.
Cool.
And so I read a lot of the Wolverine comic books, and then I had a lot of Superman. Superman's my favorite. I mean, I don't know if you can see it or not. I think my stuff's in the way, but I've got Superman stuff everywhere back there.
Well,
So yeah, it's that's my favorite superhero.
that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, you and I probably would have gotten along very, very well when we were kids too.
For sure, for sure.
Not that we don't get along now. But
Oh yeah, yeah. No, we're great. So Trunks, because I've seen you do the armor, the Saiyan armor,
yeah.
and I've also seen you do the jacket.
Yes.
Which one is your favorite look for him?
Well, I'll say this: the armor's my favorite,
Yeah.
but man, does it show every nook and cranny of my body when I'm so like when it's the jacket days, I can kind of keep my usual workout and like don't drink beer for a while and like
Yeah.
I can end up looking okay. The
Yeah.
same armor days are when I'm like running and not eating and like I really have to. I'm 34 now, so it's a lot
Yeah.
harder to like get the superhero bod.
I
And
get
also
it.
I'm in the office chair most of the days, so
Yeah.
the Saiyan armor days is when like my life is a little bit bad. I just kind of get off work and I have like my salad and I'm like, can I go to bed now? So I love how I look. I love the Saiyan armor like look because it's like, man, how cool that I get to wear this iconic thing. But when it's jacket days, I can kind of relax a little bit more. And I
Yeah.
always do my fight scenes when I'm in the jacket because I can move more.
Right.
Because the Saint armor is like almost like a corset. It goes and it's
Ah.
all and it's
Yeah.
urethane rubber, which isn't as flexible as you think.
Hmm.
So I love, like, let's say I'm just posing and looking cool.
Hmm.
Armor, fight
Yeah.
scene, jacket.
I'll keep looking for that now when I watch it. So, so is there a certain project that you would like to work on any genre whatsoever? That is there anyone that you haven't touched yet that you are like, I want to do that?
Kingdom Hearts.
Okay. All right.
Kingdom Hearts. And DJ and I have a promise that we won't do it without each other.
Oh, that's
It's like
cool. Yeah.
kind of like a loyalty. Kingdom Hearts would be amazing. If
Yeah.
I was a billionaire, I'd love to do something Sonic the Hedgehog. That'd
That'd
be
be
super
cool.
cool. I
Yeah.
love Sonic. I'm actually just looking at my like wall of nerdy stuff over there. Um, No, but like when I first started this, I kind of just I had a little bit of a dream checklist of like fandoms that I've loved my whole life, and
Right.
I'm getting through them. And then when we went to anime, I got through a lot more, like down to like the obscure ones like Digimon and Metabots and
Yeah.
Shaman King. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really care what happened. I just knew that I wanted to do them.
Yeah.
And then now that things are getting a little more serious with like I have to choose really wisely what I do.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I'd say those are my top two.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts and Sonic, and then there's going to be a resurgence of Marvel, and I love X-Men, so it'd
Yeah.
be really cool to something X-Men.
Yeah.
But I might be
You've done some
totally,
X-Men, right?
yeah, I did one X-Men thing for another guy. I acted in it, and then I like shot it over here, but he released it over there. But then
Gotcha.
things just didn't really work out. It just wasn't going somewhere. It wasn't going somewhere with me. And
Yeah.
so I was like, dude, you pick another Cyclops. I love Cyclops, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the right guy. And then I don't know what they're doing there, but we're still cool. It just
Yeah.
wasn't going as fast as I like things to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to do that. And I think that's it. I've been very, very fortunate where I've either landed on some costume or some gig or some like opportunity where I've been able to do my fandoms. And,
Yeah.
even now dipping into Naruto, it's not like exactly what I wanted, but it's so much fun to like revisit that universe. And I'm writing in it and I'm like playing like a side character, but it
Yeah.
just feels good to kind of like be like, oh, I remember when I was 14 watching this come out on Toonami. And
Yeah.
look, now I'm here.
Yeah.
Like I just kind of want that feeling for everything I do until I'm a little too old.
Yeah. So Toonami, so you was introduced to a lot of anime as a teenager. Do you
Yes.
still watch a lot of anime?
I do for work. If I'm being
Okay.
honest, like every day at work, it's anime all day because of these conventions.
Yeah.
So it's not as like oh, I can't wait to go watch this because I'm staring at anime
Right.
at the screen all day. And
Yeah.
that doesn't take away my love for it, just takes away my like ambition to go watch more of it.
Gotcha.
But I
Gotcha.
still like I know a lot about it. I keep up on it.
Yeah.
I do my best to like learn the characters, learn the lore. But I the last time I watched anime, oh well, I guess I've been keeping up on My Hero. I do love My
Okay.
Hero.
Yeah.
I saw the movie in theaters, and then I'll randomly hop into a Studio Ghibli movie. I love those from time to time.
Okay.
No, I'm not as big of into anime as I was before this job took over my life. Now I'm surrounded by anime. I'm living anime. Look at my
That's
shirt, anime.
oh yeah, I actually so my son is into anime now. And
Okay,
so he's keeping me current, you know. In fact, I have Crunchyroll because he kind of was like, we got to get this, you
he
know.
needs it.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. And because I think it was the newest season of My Hero was coming out, and he's like, I can't wait, you know, for it to come out on Hulu or anything like that. I've got to have it now. And
Good. You're
so
a good dad.
yeah, he's got me doing that, and I've got a few I'm really liking. I'm liking Solo Leveling. I don't know if you've
Oh,
watched that
leveling.
one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I had to do a bunch of research because we had Alex Lee as one of our guests at our con,
Okay.
and he is so funny in real
Yeah.
life, and
Yeah.
he's also so badass in that show too. So
Yeah.
yes, he's great. And
Yeah.
I can't say I've seen every episode, but I know the gist of it, and I've seen like recaps and stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, Kaiju number eight's amazing too.
Yes.
You know, Attack on Titan, like the ending just came out in theaters again.
Yeah.
Like it's all kind of cyclical, right? The really big ones keep coming back in one way or another.
Right. Right. So, how many different cons do you actually work with? If you
Well,
don't
I
mind
do.
switching over to that side.
No, I don't mind at all. Very, very grateful for this job. I'm marketing director for three, but we do partner and help with other ones that want to
Okay.
bring in like what we do to those cons. So,
Okay.
for
Okay.
example, we're Anime Riverside, Anime Las Vegas, Anime Pasadena. But then let's say Los Angeles Comic Con wants an anime section. Then they
Yeah.
call us and we go in and I kind of do my thing over there. And
That's cool.
then there are days where I'm on set filming. You know,
Yeah.
it's really great. It's always different every single day. Then there are some days where it's like, we need to go to Vegas and film promos. Like it's
Yeah.
really cool. My acting kind of comes into, hey, what's up, guys? Calling from anime, blah blah blah. You know, like it's
Yeah.
all the things that I've kind of just done growing up and getting older have led to this job, and it all kind of helps each other out. So
That's cool.
very, 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 very happy for it. And then rumor has it we're working on a fourth con, so watch out.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Will that be in California as well, or are y'all?
Can't answer that.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Anime Arkansas. No, I'm just kidding.
There we go. Yes. I'm going to one. It's me and Nick, actually. He's the co-owner of Original Geek with me. We're doing a con. It's Anime Verse, and they do them in different areas and stuff. They're doing one in Houston. We're going to one in Kansas City.
Very
And
cool.
I'm very excited about that. You know, I get to meet Sonny Strait and some of the other guys and stuff too. So
Sunny's
I'm
great.
I'm pretty stoked about it.
I showed Sunny the trailer for Son of Trunks, and he was one of the ones that was not impressed.
Oh, really? Okay.
he, he was really nice about it. He was like, "Oh, cool, man. Good luck," and then like sent me on my way. And I was
Yeah.
like, "All
Yeah.
right, so no Krillin in Son of Trunks."
You know, I know how that feels a little bit, you know, with going to the conventions and stuff. This last year, I think it was my first year like actually setting up as like a guest at some conventions and things like that, doing panels and all that, and talking to some of these people. And you know, I'm like, oh well, I have a podcast. I'm trying to lead into, you know, talking to them about maybe come on the
Got it.
show, and they're just like, oh, that's cool. You know, and you're just like, oh yeah, and they just kind of send you on your way. So no,
But at least you're aware enough to know to like move on. A
right,
lot of people like there's a lot of people in our industry and especially cons that
yeah,
don't take that hint, and then
yeah,
they make them uncomfortable. So
yeah.
you're miles ahead of a lot of people.
Well, my actual first, I guess you could say, big name guest was an anime uh, voice actor, and it was kind of cool how I got him on the show. I went to Northwest Arkansas Comic Con. It's put on by VXV, and I got to meet J. Michael Tatum, and
Oh, cool.
he saw my shirt. I had a "If You Give a Dad a Podcast" shirt on, and I was with my friend, and we were talking about it. I was like, "Hey, maybe one day I'll be big enough to have you on my show." Just joking, you know. He's like, well, "Why can't you have me on now?" You know, and gave me his information, told me exactly who to talk to get him scheduled for the show. And
Love it.
ever since then, I was like, well, yeah, why can't I get these people on the show? You know,
They can say
you
is
don't
no.
know until you ask, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you have that a lot with, you know, the projects that you're working on. You don't know until you ask. So I'm sure you've had plenty of them that you've asked and they've been like, I don't think so. And then when you do get those ones that do come on, it feels so much better, even because, yeah, it's an
Yeah,
accomplishment.
even people that like aren't, let's say, quote unquote celebrities, I'm just not really afraid to get a no. Like
Yeah.
he who plays Kiki, which is Goten's daughter
Yeah.
in Son of Trump. You know, I don't want to speak for her, but when I first asked her, she was just an influencer. She was doing TikToks and like, you know, models, and
Yeah.
I think she's a real estate agent. Like she was not
Okay.
really interested, but she had that look, and I thought that she'd be really great for it. And I kind of just pitched this vague idea of it all. And then now we're in episode two together, and she, you know, got the new fit. She's like working with Brendan Mejia, and you know,
Yeah.
it was me going like, if she says no, I'm gonna be okay. But
Yeah.
like, this would be really great if she doesn't. And
Right.
so, like, even in real life, you know, we have that gamble, but as long as you're respectful and polite and not afraid of a no, what's the worst that can happen? You know?
Right. Right. So we're kind of coming up close to a close here. I got a couple more questions to ask you before I get you off of here. Do you have anything that you do want to talk about that might be coming up before I get you off here?
Yes, well, we have episode 2 of Dragon Ball Sun of Trunks on March 27th.
Hmm.
We'll be doing a screening and Q&A and a bunch of cool freebies and giveaways at Anime Las Vegas. And then I believe I'm starting principal photography of The Last Uchiha on February 22nd, which I'm really excited about. I'll just be producing and like script supervising that day, but we will have something new to show soon. We have a little teaser trailer out on Anime Fire. And then for Power Rangers, I'm sure a lot of the listeners will be wondering about that. For Power Rangers Showered Pass, I just got the full finished VFX scene back of me and the Thunder Rangers from Ninja Storm,
Okay.
and it was awesome. It was so much fun, and then it was also a rush because we were at Morphicon, and their agent was like, "Get them back in 10 minutes." And I'm like, "Ah!" So, we got it done, and the scene looks great, and it's really just a dream come true to be on screen with both of those guys. And then I have plans to film with the Lunar Wolf Ranger in Anime Las Vegas because he's
Yeah.
there for Legacy. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a scene with me, my time bro Dade, and him, and then that will be added to the finale as well. And then this week we're gonna go over the full rough cut of the finale and see what we're missing and what needs to change
Yeah.
and what needs to happen to get the finale going. But again, I'll say this: if I didn't take so long, I wouldn't have like 4 more Legacy Rangers involved, you know?
Right.
So it's
Right.
kind
Right.
of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I think that's it. And then big shout out to the conventions: Anime Riverside, Anime Las Vegas, Anime Pasadena. There's something for everyone there. Please go check them out. And also, big shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for having me on and
Yeah.
being such a great host.
Awesome. Awesome. And if people want to follow you and everything that you're doing, how can they do that?
Colin K. Bass on everything, I think, is the most active, but the
Okay.
big, like, important releases will be Anime Fire.
Okay. All right. Man, it has been great talking to you tonight. I have really enjoyed this. I've been looking forward to it. I will talk to you for a few more minutes after we end this and everything, but we're going to say bye here for now. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was great. I didn't get one bad dad joke, though. Can you give me one?
Oh, okay. Let's see here.
Sorry to put you on the spot again, Darkseid.
Oh, I keep a list of them ready for me, just for these occasions. I
You
have
like a
so many.
tattoo.
Oh, my wife actually bought me a book not too long
Mm.
ago. Then and it's just full of them. It was for Christmas that she bought me that. So she okay, I know one. And I know that you're an anime fan and you're Digimon fan. This isn't Digimon, but it's Pokemon. Okay. So
Okay.
how do you get Pikachu on the bus?
I don't know how.
You Pokemon.
And that's all the time we have tonight, guys.
All right, man.
The rest of you.
All right, we're gonna
That's
end
good.
this, and I will talk to you afterwards. Thanks, man.
Bye, guys.
If You Give a Dad a Podcast.